Oh, hi. Everybody can see and hear me. I am so sorry. Good morning, everybody. I thought that I was waiting for my screen to come on, and I really am so apologetic. But that's part of our times with technical issues. And on that note, I do hope that everybody is doing well, and my best wishes for you during this pandemic era. I'd also like to um, just let you know who I am. I am Tina Keeper in Indigenous, and I'm really, really happy to be with you today. I'd like to now tell you that this is the Mantua First Nations Education Resources 2021 Circle of Knowledge and Practices Conference. And welcome, and I hope you enjoy it. And we have an amazing keynote speaker today. And of course, to open our conference, we have our wonderful elder, Nellie Ann Cromarty from St. Teresa Point, and she will conduct our opening prayer. Miigwech, Nellie Ann, and I believe she'll be joining us.
Good morning. Good morning to all of you that are listening to this conference. I am going to say my prayer in my language. I am a native language consultant in my hometown. I've been doing languages for a very long time, and I am very proud to be able to still speak my language. I'm a residential school product. I never forgot my language. When I was younger, I was in a sanitarium for a while. I kept my language, and I heard different languages as I was growing up. And I can understand two of them, which is Cree and Ojibwe. Anyways, we shall give thanks to the good Creator for providing us another wonderful day to wake up to. Kapag namin kinanak ko muna, ikaw na piyak nung kumkagasapak. We shall give thanks to the Creator for gathering this morning to listen to some teachings that will be shared. Kasi man to, kinanak ko magkuhuwen nung kumkagasapayak. Emen nag-iisagak, kaya pajawapan naman ka. Emen nasing kakanagayawon, kagiwastun. Ego mine, enanak kumiyang tathin, kawa pamangata kiapits, ni chihananak, ni chihamenanak, ni chanis nanak, temenanak. Stay ng pagkat namin nanak ko mo nunggo kagasepak. Kiapits menyayayak. Sagot kon kawani ken tawamen ukwenok. Kistihak utakwadik. Egan handagagis chagewach nunggo kagisakanik. Kiapits minto kewinawa. Chuapan damwats. Chuapan makuyak. Kiapits kamanyayak umayaking. Eguatapakutentamakue kewinawa egachuanihkewach anuenchapmataswach. Nananahkuman kaye we kaismahman seangueta tahsankekun katutamak. Ntan kuiunanan nangasiawatasuunan egaminahue ntayaunan kais wapantamang nogamakakishka. Namanentaman we ehtutamang we chigema mawach ihkatiang euhkakwe kanawentamang we kekunen kakiminuang chien katamang. Emsinuach kiapch wenok kawi nuntamwach kakisipmatasach kehteach kakisipmachuch ansin. Kahkanauguanan emamitnendamang kahkanahmakeunan kayagan chikihkentamwahpan wenok waskiansinuak kawianapmatasach. Egachuanihkewach antuenchiwach owen kaunche ayawacho mayaking egomnakekunen kawihpamutwach ayem sinuach ega kawanihkeman okonagakihpuantuahkegunan mawach tainenchagate chikiwenagatek chikiwenahsagatek chuindamawahkua apenudishak ehpichtse kanatahkue pamatadon kaki minukuak chupamsatamak kewinawachwih pamsatamach ekakeguna chuanihkentamach kinawan pakua ke ahpihtanahkuyak kakashktuman we chatutamak chikemah kikiminukuudman upmachiwe ksemanto kikiminukuman kenantukyakue ekua pukuinawak kawatahpanaman kewunen kenuntamak nungum chikemah kinaunt kawanapamutwak kawanwintamakiyah kukuenun kananahkumansa we tahsan kanakskawahkua katutemnanak nogamkakishkak. How? Amen. Good morning.
Oh, good morning, Kichimigwach, Nelian. Thank you so much to our elder, Agasani Kananaskamatin. And I'm so grateful to hear Nelian's prayers today. It is a beautiful day, and we are so we're so honored to be able to share with one another still. So this is so wonderful. And Nelian is elder who is really getting to know her technology, and it just is so meaningful when she shares with us. So Kichimigwach, Elder Nelian. And now it is my honor to introduce to you the MFN ERC chairman of the board. And this is Chief Clarence Easter from Chimawan First Nation.
Good morning, Tina. How are you?
I'm good, Chief. Yeah. Great to see you. And
you too, yeah.
All the best.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the conference, I guess I should say. I mean, I'm sitting here by myself and just looking around, and seems like I'm talking to myself, but I guess everybody is out there listening. So I welcome everybody, and welcome to the conference. I know that COVID has put a lot of dampers on everybody. Travel, business, and even materials, and even food. Whatever, it affects all of our lives in every which way we it can. But the thing that I worry the most is how it affects our lives in terms of to continue living so that we can be alive. And that's part of my, I guess that's part of my rant for today, is the living part. How we continue living in this country as First Nations, as people that are, from here, and people that have always been here. I'm working currently on Treaty 5. I have Treaty 5. I set up an office in the city, and working on Treaty 5 issues. I think, to me, I think a lot of people are starting to, shy away from treaties, I'll say. Not so much purposely, but not intentionally either. But I think it's because of the society, the way society has, the way the government has been treating us, the way the government has been beating up on us, over the years. And I think, we tend to, shy away from our rights, and the government is determining our rights. And we should be the ones determining our rights. We should be the ones, dictating how these rights are, and how we live on our lands, and how we do business, how we conduct business, and how we, we teach our kids, and how we, live our lives in a meaningful way. And I think, that is my concern going forward. I see a lot of kids today are under the influence, they're on something. They're always on, electronic stuff, and nobody wants to work today. And like, people are, we're advertising in the community all the time, and nobody wants to work, but they all, at the end of every payday, they want the money. And health wise, a lot of people are sick. A lot of our youth are getting younger and younger, and they're getting sicker and sicker. And people are, constantly being sick and dying because of the complications they have. In the COVID pandemic, they refer to us as, well, we got to give the First Nations first dibs because they're vulnerable people. We are vulnerable people in every aspect of, of our lives. And I think we have to try and change that. And I think, we need to stop, the way that we've been doing things. I don't know, how do we change that? And I think that's where my concerns going forward are. I see a lot of people. I work with my people, and I see a lot of people in the city that are homeless, and most of them are from, from our communities, and from the north. I was sitting yesterday at, one of the, places where they, provide food, and there was a long line up there, and all of them were our people. And that's concerning to me, because we need to be able to help those people, those people that come into the communities, that come into the cities, and how we teach our kids, to get a better life. Anyway, that is my rant of the day, and hopefully that we're able to change this around. I'll keep working on how we can change it. But we all need to be working together on how we can do this and move forward. Because I need help. We all need help. How do we do this? A lot of our people are educated now. So we need to figure out how we can, help us change this around. We need to start from our kids. And I know that, we need to catch those 2-year-olds, 4-year-olds, 6-year-olds, even 10-year-olds, because by the time they're 15, 16, they already have made up their minds of what they want to do. And I think that's that's what I want to say today in very general sense, because I don't want to be technical about anything. I just want to be very general and be specific of, how we should be looking at things, and how we should look at our lives as First Nations people, and how we should be teaching our kids, because we've lost that. We had it before. We had it for generations, for thousands of years before that. We knew how to live. We knew how to make nets. We were fishermen. We knew how to make nets, but now the fishermen are having issues because they don't know. They don't have nets. Nobody makes nets now. Just to put it in in that perspective. Nobody makes nets. We should be able to make our own nets. We should be able to make our own things. So that's, we need engineers, we need lawyers, we need doctors, the whole aspect. We need to build our communities up. And I think that's, my message of today to you. And hopefully that, we start working on getting our rights. This is our right. How do we get it back? This is the way we've lived before, and this is the way we want to continue to live. Right now, we can't seem to do that. But I want to be able to start working towards that. Anyway, I want to thank you for listening to me this morning, because those are the concerns I have, and I continue to have, and will continue to work on how can we do this better, especially for our youth today, because we're losing them, so fast, to whatever's out there. We need to contain that and say this is the way we should live as First Nations, or this is the way we lived before, and this is the way we should continue to live. We need to determine that, and we need, that is our right as First Nations, and we signed treaties with Canada, and those treaties are binding agreements. Those are agreements that are binding, but we never really built up our side. We need to build up our side. Canada has built up their side, all right, and they've determined, you guys don't have any laws, you don't have any things, we'll just do it for you. And we need to change that. We need to build our side of that agreement. Anyway, hopefully everybody has a good time in this conference, and I wish I can go into more details, more specifics and more examples, but what I'm talking about, because you get to see all of it. Everybody sees it. So I want to thank you for listening to me. Hopefully, I made some sense. I know it's maybe I don't make sense sometimes, but I know what I want. So thank you.
Agus, honey.
Have a great day, and have fun.
Agus, honey. Chief Easter from Chimhaw and Cree Nation. And I just would like to say that those were very profound comments. And I think what Chief Easter, was relaying is, the dire conditions that, Indigenous peoples, as First Nations, that we are dealing with due to matters that weren't our choices, and how our people took care of our own for since time immemorial. And I think that talking about reclamation is the point of MFNERC, and it is the work that they're doing. So as the chair of the board, Agasani, Chief Easter, and then our next speaker is the executive director of the Mantua First Nations Education Resource Center, Charles Cochran, and he's from Ebb and Flow First Nation. And that is the work that he's doing. So congratulations on your role. And also, it is an enormous amount of work, as Chief Easter said. So thank you for the work that you do. And please take it away with your opening remarks.
Well, thank you very much, Tina. Thank you for the providing the support to us as the Master of Ceremonies. I would like to say, before I start, certainly thanking Elder Nellie Cromarty for the opening prayer, and also to our chair, Chief Clarence Easter, for the great messages that he's provided. Certainly, they are profound messages, very touching, and certainly, and again, it is real. It's, when we talk about the treaties and the binding components of the treaties, but also the impacts it has had on us as First Nation people. So I say Jimmy Wedge for those very again opening of the with the opening prayer and the opening message by our chair. Uh, I will say first of all, I Chingi Chi Nandam Andami Wan Chingi Yedwan Kap Mashing Mikisen the Nishnabe Wis when Kaka Kwake Jim Donji the what Chingi Chi Nandan Nishnabe Mando what Chingi Chi Nandan Nishnabe. Um, yeah, my name is Charles Cochran. I'm Executive Director of the Mantua First Nation Education Resource Center, and proudly, I'm very proud of the role I am in terms of. It's not so much, I guess, taking pride in terms of myself, but it's the pride in being able to help those those schools and especially the children in the work we do for from our organization to the First Nation schools. So and it's been a lot of work. Certainly, there's been a lot of people that have had major involvement in terms of when we first started to where we are today. So I certainly like to. I would certainly like to acknowledge all of those people, and there's so many of them. And I know I'm going to miss some names, but I certainly, certainly want to acknowledge those that have been a big part of the the organization. And certainly thinking of people like Gwen Merrick, Shirley Fontaine, Shirley Malcolm Fontaine, Sharon Fiddler, Don Robertson, John Peter Day, and certainly those that have passed, but also those that are still with us today. Again, my predecessor here, Lawrence C. Keeper. I think of Mary Kershane, Ruth Norton, and all those people. But I also do want to say and want to relay prayers and good health to someone that's close to us here, and close to me. She works basically like my right hand person, and very happy with the work that she does. But also prayers going out to Virginia Arthurson for good health. So I do want to relay that. Again, uh, I'll go into the basically some of the comments that we'd like to make for the conference itself. Certainly, it is my pleasure to welcome everybody here. It is our 21st annual Circle of Knowledge conference. And certainly it's designed to bring together all school staff, give them an opportunity to partake in professional development from First Nation perspective, and that's very key. We are First Nation people, and proudly so, and we provide supports and the work we do is based from that First Nation perspective. Uh, this past this past year, we've really did a lot of changes in terms of how we deliver supports as an organization, and certainly with the pandemic here, and I've said that many times, the pandemic and COVID hasn't done our people good. It One thing it has done, it has accelerated the work we've had to do in education, especially in areas of remote learning, remote support, digital learning. So that being said, is we've had to accelerate that to continue to provide the support and great support that our staff has. We are very proud of our organization and our staff. Just recently, in fact, we've just recently graduated through a couple of our programs. Uh, 9 school psychologists, First Nation school psychologists, and we're very proud of that. We're proud we've graduated speech and language pathologists, and certainly we're proud of that. So these are the people, among others, among our facilitators, our experienced facilitators in languages and cultures, literacy supports, numeracy supports, physical health education supports. These are the great people that provide that will facilitate workshops in this conference, but also in as well as our spring conference and in lighting the fire. These who are the people we rely on for this great work. So again, we're there to present best practices. in terms of what we do and the supports and services we provide for our schools. So kudos to our work, our staff. What this conference will also provide is basically exchanging of information, to learn from others, to learn from other schools, to learn from other professionals. They're certainly going to hear from some very great speakers, guest speakers, and again, we take a lot of pride in that. When we look at our work, certainly we do our work based on our foundations, our languages, our cultures, our values, and our traditions. So we take a lot of great pride in that. So when we look at this year's theme, creating student engagement, it can mean a lot of different things to many different people. Mean a lot of different things to educators, and of course to the students. To the students that we're that's the importance. That's where it all lies down, is to the student. So we need to do different approaches to things. When I reflect, I guess really as a young educator and as a young Anishinaabe person going into a provincial school, it's shocking. But what got me, I guess, really engaged is, I've always loved sports, whether it's high school teams or individual sports. Certainly, that to me allowed me to engage with my classmates, my schoolmates, and certainly one of the things I really enjoyed going to school is because of that engagement with others. We have different ways of doing that as students, as young children, and different ways that we can do create that engagement. And I think we have to try and tap into any way possible to engage students, and that's our jobs, and that's I always say that's why we are here. That's why we exist, is for those children, and exactly. And then I always say that's why we work. So we all have our different experiences, and we have to find ways to tap into those different experiences for the betterment of the children. And when we look at engagement, it has to include everybody. It has to include the families, the schools, include leadership. Um, I think of this was just shared with me. How do we engage students and strategies? And we look at our students as our young leaders. And a simple activity is, I think, is engaging our students with our leadership by get an example is, let's say, a pizza party in a school. Maybe have all the students write a request to our leaders to make a small donation, but engage all students to write letters to our chief and councils to donate a few dollars for a pizza party. That's engagement. That's engagement with leadership. That's engagement among schools. So again, it's all about working together, ensuring our children, our schools, our staff are healthy, happy, and safe, and certainly during these tough times. But we will persevere. We always say we're resilient. Anishinaabe people are resilient, or we would have been gone a long, long time ago, but we're still here, and we're bigger, stronger. The graduates coming out of the post-secondary institutions, there are so many of them, and again, we are strong people. So that being said, I do want to say Gichimi Wetch, Apchigan, Gichinandan, G Kandan was so going no king, we chang of check. So I want to say have a great day, everybody, and have a great day at the Circle of Knowledge and conference. Gichimi Wetch Tina again for help, and also a couple of people at the back, Rachel and Joy and all the others. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Kachimigwech, thank you so much. Charles Cochran, he is the Executive Director of the Mantua First Nations Education Resource Center. And engagement, it's the center point of education. I think that's so important. And as both Charles and Chief Easter had said, these are trying times. So I congratulate all of you on your work, on your discipline, on your commitment. And we have now an exemplary person in Indigenous education who's going to share with us, and she is our keynote speaker. And it is my privilege to introduce to you our keynote speaker. Her name is Dr. Pamela Rose Toulouse. She is a visiting scholar in the Faculty of Education at York University. She is a proud Anishinaabe and a member of Sagamok First Nation in Northern Ontario. Dr. Pam, as she is more fondly known, is the recipient of the Ontario Undergraduate Student Alliance Teaching Excellence Award 2021. She's also been the recipient of the Inspiring Indigenous Women of Northeastern Ontario Award in 2019 and the 3M National Teaching Excellence Fellow Award 2015. And the awards continue. The next one is the Laurentian University Full-Time Faculty Teaching Excellence Award in 2014, and the Laurentian University Professional Schools Teaching Excellence Award of 2013. If that is not enough, she is also the author, researcher, and developer of over 55 resources in Indigenous education. These include books, chapters, articles, curriculum, webinars, and other materials. Dr. Pam has 28 years of experience across the education continuum from K to 12, post-secondary, and administration. Let's welcome Dr. Pamela Rose Toulouse.
Honey, and good morning, everybody. Oh, here we are, up here in the morning. So I want to start off things in a good way. So I want to do some chimigwetches ahead of time. I want to say chimigwetch to our elder Nellie Ann. Thank you, because anytime that I hear the language, and this is about student engagement too. It's about who we are. I hear the language from our elders, and it not only comes here to me, but it also comes to that place in our heart. So miigwech. I also want to thank Chief Easter, because what you did, Chief Easter, is you put a challenge out to us, right? You made it very clear that we all need to be ready. And that is about preparing our students, again, to be those future leaders, not tomorrow, but today. I want to thank you, Charles. I want to thank you again for laying, the groundwork and to talking about the contributions of all of your staff, or let's call them what they are, your family, my friend. So miigwech. I also want to thank Joy Keeper for reaching out and asking me to be a part of this special and important day. Thank you for taking the time to establish that relationship with me. And Tina, our MC, and I'm going to tell you what MCTK stands for. We know that it stands for majestic, magnificent communicator, and that is what it is. So, beautiful friends, we are going to start off, with an activity. And I know you're behind the screens there. Oh, I can sense you and I can feel you. So what you're going to do is you're going to make a circle. Don't be afraid to do it, okay? Let me see your circles. Oh, my psychic vision. I know you got the best circles in the world going. So let's hold those sacred circles up. Now, what I want you to do is to reach those sacred circles to the sky. Oh, ishpaming, here it is. Oh, bring those sacred circles back here. I want you to put them into that eastern doorway. Don't be afraid. Put them over there. Let's show those eastern doorway keepers that we're here. Take it to the west. Take it to the west, my beautiful friends. We want those doorways open. Back to the center. Let's make sure that our southern doorways are open. Reach down, reach down. You got it. Bring that right back here. Let's send our sacred circles out to the universe. Oh, yes. I know you did it. I know that you were also at home visualizing it. So, the sacred circle and creating student engagement. So, important things here. And important as well is who I am. So, wasa ekawabekwe nadijnakos, ganoje dodum, segmak nishnabek donjaba. So my aunties gifted me this good name. And my good name translates, loosely into English, she that looks ahead. And I feel very lucky and empowered to have that name, my friends. Not only that, ganoje dodum. So I'm a pike person. That is my family. It is the pike, the actual fish. And here in our Anishinaabeg territory, Three Fires Confederacy people, I am one of the original teachers, mediators, philosophers in our beautiful nation here. And I said, Sagmuk Nishnabek Donjaba. And Donjaba really means where I put my head down, where I sleep. And that is Gamuk in Northern Ontario, right on top of Lake Huron. And my community are place names, right? So they always had significant meaning. Zgamuk is the place that we went to during the summers to get the best sturgeon, right? So that's what it is. So Sagamuk, Zgamuk is not just a name. It has a greater meaning and connection to our ancestors. Now, okay, now. Get ready. You're going to get ready to mipto with me, my friends. It's going to be mipto, mipto, mipto. And we are going to be sharing. We are going to be caring. We are going to be having an informative and good time. So, creating student engagement. And I'm going to pull up this presentation, and don't worry, okay, my friends, if you're like, oh, I still, I haven't had the opportunity to look at the presentation, don't worry. You are going to be getting copies of it anyway. So it is all good, my friends. So what I'm going to do, my beautiful friends, all right, you'll see my face on the screen, and you'll also see my presentation. And our wonderful Rachel, who's like, she really is the technological guru. She is, again, going to have my face with my presentation. So what I challenge you to do out there, all right, so this is my challenge, is that I want you to identify, okay, that sacred number 4. You know it, all right? You know it. I want you to identify 4 things that stand out to you, okay? 4 critical teachings that you're going to take away. Now, my beautiful friends, okay, so get ready. Count them off. 1, 2, 3, 4, all right? You're going to gather these 4 teachings. So when it comes to student engagement, right? What really is at the heart of it? Well, there's a couple of things. Holism, yes, but humor and humility. So what do those things actually have to do with it? Okay, so let me go right here. So we are going to be engaged today in a focused conversation about these gifts of humor and humility and honoring our gifts, your gifts, my gifts, the land's gifts, right? All of our gifts, our elders, all right? The gifts from our language, the gifts from the land. And hopefully you're going to leave here and you're going to be like, yes, I am going to try that, again, strategy today. So humor, humility, and honoring our gifts, my beautiful friends, right? So really, what is this, right? It's like, what are you talking about, Dr. Pam? Make it clear here. All right. So my friends, I want you to try this, okay? Try it with me. And I want you to do it in a good way. I want you to smile. Yeah, just like this. Well, maybe not like this. That's kind of scary. But you know what I meant, okay? Smile. Now, we know, all right, that humor in our language, so Nishna Bamwin, okay? So in my language, in this dialect here in my region, that the word humor, okay, is actually the word chabape, all right? Oh, you know it. You're chabape every day all around town, okay? All around town, okay? You're like chabape everywhere. Now, chabape, right? When I think about our language and that word, what's so critical behind that in our language is understanding the meaning of the language as well. So chabape, right, has a little sound in there. This syllable, okay, all right, that comes from de, right? Which also is, again, rooted in our stories about that first strawberry, that heartberry, de min. But de is the heart, right? We think about that, de, but where does the heart come from, that teaching? The heart comes from something greater than ourselves. So when we chabape together, what we're doing is that we're actually sharing in each other's hearts together. So what's humor? It builds community, my friends, right? Builds community in the classroom and outside of the classroom. And not only that, science and medical science is like, listen, oh yes, humor, chabop, right, produces good endorphins. Well, you know what? We didn't need the medical field to tell us that, because us Nishnabek, Mushkegowik people, us like, creative natives, we have known this since time immemorial, right? That it is a good medicine. Not only that, it's a gift that our people have, and it's also a cultural norm. Now, humility, all right? I want you to try this with me, okay? Try it with me at home, looking through the screen. I want you to look at the screen intently. And I want you to say, I, try it. Oh, I heard you. Don't. I heard you again. No. All right. I don't know. So it's okay to say that, right? And what I love about our elders, right, is that our elders, and you think about the messages this morning, talk about, I don't know. They're talking about, listen, right? I am still on a learning journey. I'm still learning. And, when I hear that, I'm like, yes, because that is humility, right? That's what it is. So humility in the classroom and engaging students, especially our Anishinaabe, Mushkegowik, our Métis Inuit students, is that we need to think about resources and experiences that are outside of the box. And you might be thinking, well, what are you talking about here? So I'm going to give you some examples, my friends. Now, you all know it, all right? Famous now. Our students really do, right? They are, again, like, in a digital world. So, as educators, as counselors, as consultants, as parents, guardians, aunties, uncles, grandmas, whatever role or how you self-identify, it's important to embrace social media, to bridge, again, school experiences with the world that they're living in. So I'm going to give you some examples of some really cool TikTok videos, things that not only are entertaining that connect with youth, but also, again, are informative. So TikTok, using things like Mentimeter. And Mentimeter is actually, a very simple online tool to use, where with your students, right, you can, again, gauge questions. So you can put a question up, the students go to the link and they answer the question, right? And what it is that you can build word art with it. You can also gauge where students are in learning or what favorite way of learning that they have. And it'll say 9 students said this, 3 said this. And it also gives a sense of anonymity so that they can answer it in a good way. Not only that, games, and get out on the land. All right. Get out on the land every opportunity. Let's go to our places of significance. And a lot of people think, well, what do you mean places of significance? Do you want us to go to our sacred territories, and conduct our ceremonies? That is part of it. But it goes back again to what Chief Easter was saying. Look outside, even if you're in Winnipeg, if you're in the urban centers, we take a look. 100% of lands in Manitoba are Indigenous lands, right? So that when we go out and do land-based activities, it can be outside, it can be on that walk, it can be done virtually, but land-based activities that connect our learners, again, to their treaty relationship with each other and with the land. Not only that, music videos, all right, I'm going to share one later, because here's the thing. A lot of our, again, youth, right, love rap. Now, you might be like, I don't know about this rap business. But listen, there is, again, rap that is a really great teaching tool and that's appropriate. And I'm going to share it with you in a little bit. But not only that, using, again, various teaching and learning strategies, literature circle approaches where people take on different roles while they're in class. One person might be the Weber. One person might be the visualizer. Another person might be the life experiencer. Using those approaches in science and math is a way of thinking outside of the box. And it's okay as educators to take risks because, listen, okay, our learners will appreciate it. Because when we take risks and we are humble about it, they can laugh along with us and learn with us. But not only that, we want every day to be a new day in the classroom that builds upon the prior learning and that gets our learners excited. But not only that, honoring our gifts. We start with the gifts of our learners first, our students. Help them to identify the wonderful beings that they are. And I always say, listen, when I look at classrooms, and I still get to be in K to 12, I look and I think, wow, I am the most, again, like, what an honor. When I look at these students, I think, my goodness, there is no other individual in the entire world like this. Even if you're a twin, there is no other like being like you. You might share the same DNA, my friends, but I am telling you, right? I'm telling you, out of this entire universe and this entire world, there is only one being just like you. And that is about honoring the gifts. So what do? We honor gifts by, of course, again, ensuring that the identity of our learners is paramount. But also, we do this through our traditions because they're important. And that is, again, so important, especially when it's related to language, my friends, right? We got to embrace those traditions, relearn them, and adapt as we go. Not only that, right? We use the social media world in a good way. We talk about what the local community has for gifts, and then we go outward. We look at, the gifts of the rest of the indigenous nations on our beautiful, again, Turtle Island, because again, it is Turtle Island. So your challenge, my friends, is to, again, identify 4 things you're going to learn in this time together. But anyways, before I started this morning, I was thinking about the acronyms, right? MFNERC. And I thought, well, what does that actually mean to me, right? I had the wonderful Joy reach out. I've been working with Rachel trying to figure out this technology, my friends. But let me tell you what MFNERC means to me. It means magnificent, fantabulous natives, empowering, respectful communities. And to me, that is about student engagement. So again, magnificent, fantabulous, right? We got it. Natives, empowering, respectful communities. And that is an approach, my friends. Now, okay, you're going to have to bear with me as I share with you, okay, an example, all right? An example, my beautiful friends, of, all right, a TikTok resource, okay, that you need to consider using today. All right. Now you're probably like, what do you mean you want me to start using TikTok? All right. So you do have to be careful. You really have to see what videos are before and after, because TikTok videos will often just continue playing. Right. So, but TikTok has some really cool digital indigenous people. And actually, the one that I am going to show you, my beautiful friends, comes directly from Manitoba. So I am going to show you this wonderful TikTok, again, individual. So again, you should be able to see it on your screen. And Rachel, thank you again for putting it up. Okay, so Rachel's going to put it up and I'm going to just show you what is located there. So here we go, right? So we have this wonderful, again, young, again, Cree, okay, one wonderful creative native. And he's on TikTok and, making like such a profound difference. And I'm going to show you, go through, again, this wonderful site, okay? And all of these videos are between 15 to 30 seconds. And what they are is they're teaching tools for young people, but us people, a little bit of an older generation, all right? Look at my hair. It's actually, signs of wisdom, okay? Or else I'm just late getting to my hairdresser. But what I would like to do is I'd like to show you how it is that our young people are also these great educators outside of the box. So I am going to show you an amazing video, my friends, okay? That also combines the music that young people love and also our traditions. Get ready. Love, love, love. Now, my beautiful friends, now let's just go a little bit old school, okay? Now, if you want to introduce something, like you want to look at things like media or else films, again, that have to do with Indigenous peoples, and you want to do a critical eye, or you want to go with humor or discuss, serious issues about, again, our young people and the law, you might want to consider opening it up with this.
Name? Frank Fence Post. Address? Where do I live? Yeah, where do you live? I live where the land meets the sky.
where the eagle and the raven fly free. I live under the sun and the moon.
Where do you live? I'm his neighbor.
Name?
All right, my friends, I'm going to stop sharing that right there. Now, beautiful friends, right? So you might be thinking, well, how can I do that? It's okay, right? It's okay to adapt, my friends, and to use TikTok and to use Instagram, but to be selective about the resources that you're using to ensure that they're appropriate. What I love about that particular, again, TikTok, again, this wonderful individual is Cree. And that you take a look at that TikTok page, and what you have there, my friend, you would not believe, is like about 50 different short videos that address really hard topics, but in a good way. Addresses decolonization, addresses things like appropriation, and again, not only that, shares traditions and teachings. So again, this is about making those connections where our learners are at. Now, I'm going back into my presentation, my friends, but first I have an activity for you. Now, you can sit or stand, okay? You can sit or stand, okay? Now, what you can do, all right, my friends, is this, or you can visualize, so you can monitor your own health. This again, activity is called MIPTO. Now you can sit in your chair and do MIPTO, or you can stand like me and do MIPTO. Now look, I did put on a dress for today, folks, all right? We've been in COVID, and I did get dressed and get out of my pajamas today just for you folks. But when we do MIPTO, we're gonna run on the spot. Run on the spot. Even if you're in your chair, run on your spot. MIPTO, 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 MIPTO. All right, stop right there. Okay, stop. Oh, take a break. Another MIPTO. MIPTO, MIPTO, MIPTO. Stop right there. Now, why do we do MIPTO, right? So MIPTO is really the word Nishnabemwin that means, right, to run, right? To run. So that is what it is, right? We are running. So, my beautiful friends, let us run towards the rest of this presentation, all right? So, beautiful friends, I want you to get ready. Now, I would ask my beautiful Rachel, okay? Rachel, can you just let me know, okay? Was my audio for my TikTok video, was it on par? Okay, could you hear it in a good way? Let me know, my beautiful friend. Now, my wonderful friends here, I am going to share again my screen with you, okay? I'm going to share with you. All right, so let us get this ready. Now, what I love, all right, is that I get to share things that I've been a part of, as well. So Rachel's going to put my head, it's going to be about this small, okay? It's going to be about this small. You see it, okay? Now don't go like this. I know you're tempted to go like this, all right? Believe me, I do it too. You're going to squash my head, aren't you? All right, but beautiful friends. So when we think about what are teaching learning strategies, right? So there are all kinds of teaching and learning strategies. There are activity-based strategies, direct instruction, arts-based strategy, inquiry strategies, and again, accommodating various learning styles. There is also thinking skills in strategies, okay, all kinds of them, and also cooperative and independent learning, and of course, technology. What I love about this particular checklist, right? What I love about this checklist, even though it's an oldie from 2002, what it does is that it challenges us to think about how it is we're teaching. So what I would do is I'd be like, okay, I'm thinking outside of the box. And today I'm teaching math, but I'm actually going to use Tableau, okay? I'm going to use the dramatic arts movement of Tableau to teach math from an Indigenous perspective. So I would look at this list and I would challenge myself, to find ways to be innovative in my teaching practice, right? And to be able to mix it up. And again, our learners, are beautiful, okay? Nishnabek, Mashkigowik, Haudenosaunee, Oji Cree, Métis, Inuit, that they also, really do appreciate it. So student engagement, you see this, the sacred circle. Now, here's the thing, right? Student engagement, right? We're about holism. So you think about it, right? So let's think about it. There are over 500 distinct nations on Turtle Island, and myself and my region, we're only one out of those 500 nations on Turtle Island, which is all of North America. Just in Canada alone, there's over 70 Indigenous languages. We are so diverse. But there's, a couple of things that really do symbolize and reflect what 500 nations have in common. And that is that we really do hold holism, as part of our worldview. And, a lot of times, our non-Indigenous allies and accomplices will be like, I don't get it. What do you mean by holism? So, beautiful friends, right? What is holism? It is, for me, again, from my community, this particular worldview and teaching is ensuring that the physical, emotional, intellectual, and that the spiritual, again, spiritual aspects of learning and of the human being are met, right? So what we do is we take a look and we say, okay, at the physical level, what type of interactive and collaborative activities do I have in my classroom, inside and out and virtually? Not only that, what type of visual and hands-on things do we have going on? And here it is. Nearly every aspect of learning and lessons and unit planning or learning cycles need to have those hands-on activities, even at the grade 12 level, all right? Because this type of learning is good for all learners. And I will give you an example of that, okay? Where we don't get the credit where credit is due. Now, the emotional, humor, okay? Builds community, you know it. But not only that, the emotional is about that storytelling and group talk, right? It's about those strategies, those think, pair, share, carousel, right? All of those other strategies that can be used throughout the curriculum, not just in literacy and language arts. It's going outside of that, using readers' theater and reading response, right? And again, in mathematics, or else using it like, in organic chemistry in grade 11. So, and it appeals, to all of those ways that we learn. Not only that, to be reflective, right? Because a lot of times, our learners, are not going to answer right away, and that's okay. So instead of answering orally, what about having digital journals, or else, again, like, digital platforms where they can, again, reflect on their own, and then we can look at it later. Go to the intellectual. Yes, we are. Okay, let me just go like this. Woo. The intellectual, my friends, is all about those mini lessons, right? So mini lessons are really focused, okay? Really focused. They can range, a mini lesson can range from 5 to 15 minutes. But what it is that the mini lesson is really focused in, okay, on a particular, like, knowledge, skill, value, historical use, or else a particular, learning expectation or outcome that you really want to, again, engage the students with. So it's like, the educator, time to shine, it's our time to shine. We get the 5 to 15 minutes. But then what we do is that we offer activities that take that learning even further with our learners, right? So the mini lessons are about us. It's about us looking at the learning outcomes in the province, or else the learning outcomes, and making sure that they have, like, again, some real world meat, right? That's what we do. And then we have activities, right, that really do engage the learner. So think about that TL list, that teaching learning list. Challenge yourself and be like, you know what? Yeah, I haven't done a little sketch to learn in a while. Let me try it. All right. So procedures and routines, they need to be consistent. Don't be afraid to use your own languages, Nishnabemwin, for your procedures and routines. If you want students to answer you, right? Answer you. Don't be afraid, to say, Gegetsago, okay? If you agree with this, I want you to say Gegetsago, which, of course, in my language here in this territory is slang for, oh, yes, oh, yes. So don't be afraid to do that, or else to use, like, stand up if you agree, sit down if you don't, and use humor as well, right? And I want you to put your arms up if you're like, yes, no, and I don't know, and it's all good. So not only that, assessment tools, using a variety, okay, we know that. And also being aware that they are in a digital age. My goodness, if I have tech troubles, all I need to do is call my 10-year-old nephew. And within 30 seconds, He's got it figured out. Not only that, I'm telling you, my 2-year-old niece right now has got it under cover. Not only that, my beautiful friends, so student engagement, holistic approaches with meaningful concepts, resources, and or artifacts. This is critical. We need to, again, draw upon, books and resources that are authored by our people, right? So you've got Good Minds now, goodminds.com, that's located, right out of Winnipeg. And they already vet all of their books, so we get to read, stories, that are about our own people. And not only that, taking a look at those resources like TikTok that connect the learners to the content. Oh my goodness. Now, I want to share with you, my friends, probably for me, what is, definitely, one of the most moving songs and moving groups, that are out there. And this particular, group works with communities across Canada. And what they do is that they write and they produce songs with our young people. So I am going to be sharing with you this beautiful song that is called Show Us the Way, Show Us the Way. And my challenge to you right now, is I want you to pick one lyric, one line out of the song as you listen, I want you to pick one line or one lyric that you're like, wow, that is so powerful. Now, my friends, this particular song, and it is, edgy, it's a bit rappy, but this particular song, again, comes from young people. We're talking like from grade 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So let's see, what the messages are, but also think about the phrase or lyric that you're like, you know what? I get it. I know exactly the message that these young people are trying to send to me. Okay. And it really is about, what are they saying to us? So I want you to get ready, my friends. This song is called Show Us the Way, and it was created by wonderful Indigenous students in Surrey, British Columbia. Get ready, listen up.
Let me show you what we're facing. Hey oh, hey oh. Take what is really sacred. Hey oh, hey oh. We're sharing with one another. Hey oh, hey oh. As I show you my nation's colors. Hey oh, hey oh. Concentrating all of this together, we are family. Hate is in your mind on the land, living happily. I feel disrespect, but my hope isn't fading. I see it in our friends, and I know times are changing. When we're gathered in a circle, there's healing through the sharing. The wisdom of our elders says that listening is caring. We're different in the staring, so let me find the courage. Singing for my people, I'll show you that it's worth it. Way up, way up, way up, way up. See who I am, I got something to say. Hey, 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 I'll show you again, don't wanna be afraid. I'll keep learning for the rest of my days. So I will stand tall if you teach me the ways. As we look to the future, will you see me the same? So I will stand tall if you teach me the ways. As we look to the future, will you see me the same? I've been wrestling with who I am. Yahoo, yahoo. But let it all go through the dance. Yahoo, yahoo. There are comments that reach my heart. Yahoo, yahoo. Keeps the hunger for who we are. Yahoo, yahoo. I'm feeling anxious, I'm too shy to speak in public. But I know one day I'll lead and I'll love it. Hoping for my nation, I've been growing, I've been changing. Connected to the world in this emoji generation. Where people are taking selfies, but so many feel alone. Now we're here to come together. I wanna feel at home, find some honor and respect, and pass on tradition we have lived on through the songs that we're singing. Way up, way up, way up, way up. See who I am, I got something to say. Hey, 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 I'll show you again, don't wanna be afraid. I'll keep learning for the rest of my days. So I will stand tall if you teach me So I will stand tall if you teach me the ways. As we look to the future, will you see me the same? Weaving through the wind, can you lead the way? Hey oh, riding on the back of an eagle stray. Hey oh, journey is old, the story's been told, and the feeling will last forever. It's the truth when you know how the language can go through our culture. We come together. Way up, way up, way up, way up. See who I am, I got something to say. I'll show you I can, don't wanna be afraid. I'll be learning for the rest of my days. So I will stand tall if you teach me the ways. As we look to the future, will you see me the same? Way up, way up, way up, way up. See who I am, I got something to say. I'll show you I can, don't wanna be afraid. I'll be learning for the rest of my days. So I will stand tall if you teach me the ways. As we look to the future, will you see me the same?
Now that, my beautiful friends, my goodness, now that is beyond the talent zone. So, my gorgeous friends, right? So, thinking outside of the box. So, I want you to think about what was the phrase or lyric that stood out to you, right? And not only that, right? Not only that, what I love about it is think about all of the lesson points just within that short 4-minute video. This is not just about the arts and music. There was science in there. There was not only that, there was mathematics, there was literacy, history, geography. It is amazing. And there's these these amazing jumping off points for creating student engagement and using resources that connect to them. So, my beautiful friends, don't be afraid, my friends, to put up your quotes. What lyrics stood out to you? Oh, I know there were a couple, all right. Oh, yes. You excellent educators out there, right? We know it. So again, please feel free to put up your beautiful lyric or phrase that you got from that, okay? Again, so that shows up on the screen, and then we can honor your gifts. Oh my goodness. Look at these beautiful faces that I get to see. So keep putting them up there, my friends. And now I am going to share again. But before I share, we have another activity, okay? So as people are putting up their quotes, okay? They're like, this is the lyric that stood out to me. I want you to do this, okay? So go like this. Make a heart, okay? That's the best heart I got going, all right? I want you to take that beautiful heart, okay? I want you to take it and I want you to put it to the screen. Oh, I can feel the power of those hearts behind the screen. I know that you're there and you got them. I want you to take that beautiful heart, okay? Take it back up to the screen again. Oh, I want you to bring it back up to the sky. Let's say take it to that northern doorway. Let's take it to the east, to the west, to the south. Now, bring that heart back here. Send out that heart, okay? That good energy out to the community. Boom. It is gone. So, beautiful friends, right? Beautiful friends. So the heart, right? You think about it, even like our 7 living teachings, are really rooted in that concept of the heart, right? So we think about it, zog de win, right? Love. And they're all verbs, they're all actions. Okay, all of them are actions. Zog de win, right? So instead of saying, I love you, okay, you can say that to anybody. But zog de win, right? That heart actually has action behind it. That we can say these things, but our behaviors are very different, right? Or they can be. So the thing is, we want to be able to talk about those words and teachings again with our wonderful young people, to engage them in the language and to contemporize our teachings as well. Not only that, the way, right? Which is the truth, my friends. Deb Waywen. So we think about it. It really means to speak with the truth, right? So when we empower our learners with language and the original meanings, and again, make them contemporary, that is about the engagement, right? It really is. So let me share with you, okay? my, again, file again. All right. And actually, we're coming to the end of my beautiful file. All right. My creation. And it's coming up. Okay. So we've got our student engagement. We've got, the holism. But what I'm going to do, all right, so I'm just going to go like this. Now, here it is here. You can see it, right? So it really is. What are those domains about? It's about the physical, the emotional, the intellectual, and the spiritual. The physical is all about those activities, right? Those strategies, kinesthetic and group-oriented things that we do in our learning spaces, whether virtual or face-to-face. Emotional is how we actually build community through sharing, laughing, talking, and developing critical thinking. And if you go back to that teaching learning list, there's actually a section with strategies on how to build critical thought. Not only that, the intellectual is all about how we take those learning expectations and outcomes, across the curriculum and make them come to life, all right? So that they're not just rendered like this, but in fact, we bring them to life through our own authentic resources, through our own people, through our own land-based experiences. Not only that, the spiritual, it refers even deeper, right? So the spiritual is about how do we cultivate positive relationships and deeper connections with all living things, right? So that's what it is. How do we do this with our learners? And where does it begin? It begins with us. It begins with us, cultivating that. And again, experience that and demonstrating that, telling our stories about our aunties and our uncles, or however people self-identify, and telling those stories in a good way, at, again, of course, levels that are developmentally appropriate, because those stories and, seeing us educators, from the communities, as beyond just teacher or as EA or as principal or as vice principal or counselor, that those stories are what engage them, telling them the stories. Oh, yes, when my Nokomis said, Zanya, yeah, Zanya de Kit, right? And then when you explain those stories, and you say that when my Nokomis would say to me, oh, settle down, I said. When you use the language and you tell the stories, about your own experiences, you'll find that they're going to smile and laugh along with you and also be able to talk about their own experiences. So now I'm going to go to the next one. We always have to know, folks, that when we are engaging with our wonderful learners, they are in a different world. So often, when we're like myself and, of course, I'll be honest, I'm in my early 50s. I know you thought that I was like in my late 20s. I wish that I dyed my hair a little bit and then you would have agreed. But besides that, is that, our young people, right, are in such a different world. And a lot of us will be like, oh, I don't get them. They're really engaged in this digital world. But here's why, okay? We have two sets of values going like this all the time. It's almost like this, okay? And I hate to do this to my teddy bears that my partner gave to me, but the values are like this, okay? They're always going like this every day, okay? All right, they're always going like that. Put those to, sorry. But those, again, our learners are faced with the technological world values that we are in right now, okay? But not only that, when we really, again, look back to our own stories and culture and we look at the language, there's a traditional set of values, just like, our chief was talking about today, that we need to embrace, right? Charles talked about it. We need to think about those and embrace them. So we need to think about, how is it that these are conflicting? And don't be afraid just to be upfront about it. So we know it, the technological world, especially in public and, in separate schools, humor has its place, right? Oh, it's got its place, right? We don't laugh during the literacy block. What are you doing laughing and smiling during, what are you doing smiling and laughing during mathematics, right? Well, listen, technological world, humor has its place. And in our traditional world, humor is all about trust. So we really need to find that happy medium and not be afraid to be upfront and say to our learners, listen, there's a certain set of values in this world, but listen, our time immemorial values that are rooted in our blood memories, right? Again, they're right there. They're right there and they're waiting to come out. They're waiting to be engaged with. So again, we take a look, technological world. Oh, all about the youths, right? Oh, you got to stay young. You got to look young. You got to be young. You got to nip, tuck, 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 tuck. Well, We know that in our traditional societies, aging and getting older is so welcomed, right? It is welcomed. Not only that, the technological world, right, that our learners live in right now, a lot of our, again, especially in literacy, they say a good communicator can talk well and makes eye contact. Well, that's very much a technological value, right? But if we think about our communities, a lot of us value silence. But not only that, it's not necessary for us to make eye contact to show that we're listening and that we're good communicators, right? Technological world, all about the individual, right? The individual, what they need. But our communities are about community, right? It's about, well, what is it? What is it? What are my responsibilities to the community? Because the technological world is really all about rights, okay? Now, a lot of people think they got these myths and stereotypes about our people. Oh, yes, them indigenous peoples, all about their rights. Mm-mm-mm. No, 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 no. We are not about the rights. When we think about it, our traditional value systems are all about our responsibilities, right? And actually, rights do come from a technological world because it is such a suing society, right? So it's all about, I got the right. I got the right to make a choice. I got the right to this, right to that, and it's like, oh my goodness, start talking about what you're responsible for, okay? So we need to be able to bridge that for our learners and talk about those responsibilities as well. Now, the gifts, okay? I challenge you, my beautiful friends. I challenge you right now to identify some gifts that come from our 500 nations that you cannot live without. So I want you to look at the screen right now, okay? Now, this is done through a geographical lens. So when I take off my glasses and I put them in, I look at Turtle Island through geography. I've got my geographical glasses on, and I see on Turtle Island in North America, the Circum-Caribbean and the Mesoamericas, I see the land put on the back of that turtle. But not only that, my beautiful friends, I know that in each one of those regions, those geographical areas, our indigenous peoples have given so many gifts to the world that we are not given credit for. Now, take a look at the list, folks. We've got so far, our, again, Arctic region, California, right through to the Mesoamericas, right? So take a look. There's all kinds of gifts we've given to the world. I want you to select one or two that you're like, you know what? I never knew that. Okay. I never knew that. So, and you'll see them. The sport of basketball, twist on jar lids. Thank you very much, to our Mesoamerican relations. So think about how you can integrate this throughout the curriculum. And not only that, the joy that it will bring, okay? Just like joy as in joy keeper, okay? It'll bring the joy to the classroom. Now, so, things that I can't live without. If I go and I look at the Arctic region and our Inuit and our Dene and our beautiful relations there, listen, I cannot live without trousers. Thank you very much. If I go to, again, the California region, I'm going to tell you what I can't live without, and that's hair conditioners, folks, okay? I don't get this luxurious locks, just on my own. But the original ideas came from our people, but we were not credited with it. And the reason why we were not credited with these ideas was because of the fact that, in the entire, legal system was positioned against our people. We couldn't patent anything. My goodness, we couldn't vote. We weren't even considered legal human beings until the late 60s when flower power, happened. So a lot of people took our ideas, right? They took our ideas and they patented them. And these amazing, again, researchers, writers that have good community, again, relationships, named Keoki and Porterfield, worked on this collection, this encyclopedia for years. And what they did is they said, listen, we have, again, just a small snippet of all the gifts that the 500 nations on Turtle Island have given to the world. So I'm going to go down again, to the beautiful, again, Great Plains. Okay. So, and this includes some of your territories. What I can't live without, my friends, is deodorant. All right. I'm going to tell you right now. All right. Because I am sweating buckets right now. Not only that, my friends, I'm going to go to the next figure. Okay. Not only that. So take a look. Now here's again, the other 12 geographical areas in Turtle Island. So take a look. What can't you live without? Okay. I go to the Northeast. I'm telling you, I cannot live without potato chips. And thank you again to Algonquin women who, again, were the first originators of the sport of hockey. Now, my beautiful friends, I may say something controversial. If the Winnipeg Jets, do not make it, okay? Do not make it to the playoffs this year. Okay, it's not our fault. It's not our fault. All right, let's encourage them. Now, beautiful friends, take a look. There are so many examples of gifts to the world that we have given, that we have not been given credit for. Go to the Southwest apartment complexes. Just put in the word Chaco Canyon in Google, and you're going to see this structure. 360-degree circles, perfect. It was like, the first apartment complex that housed 10,000, again, Indigenous peoples. So why don't we know these things, right? Why don't we know them? And it goes back to the fact that we could not patent anything, and that is, again, a real, again, symbol and sign, of how, again, colonialism happens and continues to happen. But let us think about how we can bring those innovations, okay, those other ones that are outside of the local area into the classroom as well. So again, we always want to start with the local. You want to have Nellie Ann do those teachings in the language, and your knowledge keepers and sharers. We need to have that. Now, a couple of things that I developed a couple of years ago for you to think about. And what it is, it's really, just tables, very simple tables on, here's some of the things that would be great if learners knew by the end of a certain grade. So terms, contributions that actually would really fit into the curriculum nicely. So I've got, again, kindergarten there, and I want to talk about this one. So many of you out there, okay, teach kindergarten. But here's the thing, there's this big push. Oh, inquiry-based learning. Oh, play-based learning. All right. Now, our people have not been given credit, okay, for this inquiry and like full day kindergarten business. Because I'm going to tell you, is that what has happened is that in the past 15 years, there's this big movement towards inquiry learning. And, what happens is that outside experts, typically not Indigenous, right, are viewed as the authorities on it. So then they get credit, for, coining the term inquiry learning or full day kindergarten. But you think about it, FDK, kindergarten, the way it is being positioned now is really about, students feeling safe, thinking about the whole child, right? Remember these words, holism. Not only that, knowing that the learner and their families and their communities are the experts in their own experiences, right? Well, listen, Nishnabek, Mushkegowik, Haudenosaunee, Inuits, right? Métis, we've been doing this, for, how many decades? This is our traditional way of learning. So I've also got, again, my beautiful friends, right? Ideas for, again, the primary division, grades 1 to 3, terms that, would be great that, our learners walk out with, always knowing who our local nations are. They should know their own territories and how they self-identify. Not only that, contributions, right? Local contributions going out to Turtle Island contributions. And I also make sure, my friends, that I also, again, include, again, strategies. So ideas for you to consider on how to teach it, right? And this is about engagement, because you think about it, right? I'm starting to feel like a big old partridge here. Oh, my chest is starting to get puffed up here. Because anytime, my friends, that we have resources and contributions and again, we teach from a holistic perspective with our learners, right? There's a sense of pride, right? There is pride. And what happens is that really does, it boosts the identity and self-esteem of our people. But not only that, what it does is that it combats, it turns the mirror back on non-Indigenous learners and communities. And what it does is that it's like, okay, any myths and stereotypes that you've heard about, you continue to hear about, here's our truth, right? Hear it now, hear it today, and hear it forever. So, that's really what it's about too, is that this type of knowledge and practices also engages non-Indigenous learners to know the truth. And let's get them while they're young so that we can be a couple of generations away from all of this hurt and trauma that, that colonialism has and continues to cause, right? So let's do that. Let's offer these bridges, right, of relationship building. So we take a look, and I'm going to go, junior division. Yes, we are. Some of the cool things to incorporate, right, is things like, yes, can you believe it? The concept of zero, it came from our people. Again, the whole concept of Thanksgiving, detergents, bridges. We go to the intermediate division, right? And again, the list gets larger and it's actually scaffolded on top of each other. So, my beautiful friends, we look there. Okay. Yes, the tax system, right? Shocking. It came from our people. Yes, it did. So that what we did, right? So a lot of people are like, oh, you don't even pay any taxes. Yeah. 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 They don't pay anything. Come on. Bring back common sense with critical thought. All right. We have paid numerous times, not only through, again, our treaties not being honored, but we have paid with blood, sweat, tears, and life, right? So, this whole idea that we don't pay taxes, in fact, Indigenous peoples and our learners, we have paid more than any other nation or group in this country, and we continue to pay. So, it goes back to the comments from this morning, right, that are so critical. And it's about, again, understanding that treaty relationship, knowing the history and doing it in good ways, and you have to be able to do that to engage the learners so that they have their own knowledge set to go forward with. Because the reality is, folks, is that public schools, right, the educational system was not designed for us. It was not designed for our learners. It just wasn't, right? And it wasn't designed for a lot of learners. But what we can do, right, is that we know that our learners are the ones that are being asked, right? They're being asked to be multilingual and to have multi languages, right? They're asked to be all of these things. So let us, again, bring in the culture and the language, the contributions and the gifts to ensure that they have this in their toolkit. And not only that, because it'll inspire them not just in the mind, but in the heart and in the spirit when they're engaged physically. So let me go to high school, right? And English is my high school teachable. We take a look, right? And then you take a look, and then the contributions and the terms, always starting with local first and then going out, really do start to build. And then you think about it, if these types of, again, contributions and, and of course, terms, were embedded throughout the curriculum, we would have very different learners coming out, right? And if there was an embracing of a holistic way, making sure that physical, the emotional, right, that all of those things would be so critical. Yeah. So again, that there would be this room for critical thought. So, my beautiful friends, I am going to stop sharing. All right. I'm going to stop sharing. Now, the one thing that I would really, again, like to leave you with is that you had a challenge. You had to record 4 things, right? 4 things that you're like, yes, this is a key takeaway for me. All right. Not only that, you might have picked, the lyric from the song, maybe an idea, maybe you still have a question, right? A burning question. You're like, oh, I need this answered. And let me tell you, my friends, if I can answer it, I will. But I'm also not afraid to say Manchidik. I don't know. All right. Because that is important to be able to say too, is to model it, to model the practice. So, my beautiful friends, I want you to go like this. I know you're behind the screen. Put up those hands. Oh, yes. Those hands that have been making Bannock over the past decade. I don't know. Okay. I want you to put up those hands, my beautiful friends. Okay. Or visualize it. Put those hands to the screen. And I want you to say with me, Miigwech. Miigwech, Miigwech to the north, Miigwech to the east, to the west, to the south, Miigwech. And I want to say Miigwech to you, the beautiful participants that have taken your time on this morning to be here virtually. And I sense you. Oh, yes. Believe me, you have made moccasin tracks on my heart and spirit today, you beautiful people. Now, Nichkes, Miigwech to you. And again, Miigwech, Miigwech to Rachel, to Joy, to Tina, to our elder, to our chief, and to Charles, our ED. Thank you, Miigwech, for inviting me here. And now we will turn it to some questions. And if I can answer questions, great. And if you just want to share, listen, this is what I learned and this is what I'm going to use, then that is great too. So Miigwech, beautiful people. And I look forward to hearing from you here.
Miigwech, doctor. That was so amazing. And it was just uplifting and so informative. And I saw the I don't know if you were able to catch them as they were coming in, but the comments. And I thought that one of the people said, I feel like I'm doing like a university course. Like this content is equivalent to what I would learn in a university course. And of course, you are a professor. So, but what you did was condensed critical information like into key point areas. And that was just so amazing. I'm going to see if Rachel can send any questions. And while we're waiting for that, I would like to ask a question, which is I saw that the video of like how you use TikTok, and then the videos from and that program is called Norwegian. And they do a lot of work in First Nations across the country, right? They're sort of specialists in working with youth, and any community can bring them in. But how is that? And I'm not an educator, but I work in, the arts industry. So how is that so critical to learning? And like, do you fuse the concepts into the work? So you want to talk about that a little bit more?
For sure. So here's the beautiful, again, here's the beautiful opportunity with, again, with TikTok, but also with that video, again, show us the way. And there are so many other, those are not the only songs. They're there's again, there's beautiful songs like The Water Between Us, which was again, written and sung by youth from Temiskaming in Quebec, Nishnawbek Algonquin youth. So when you take a look at the lyrics, and there's actually, the lyrics are in SoundCloud, so you'll see a link as well where you can go see the lyrics. So what's really interesting is that you have this unique opportunity to look at the curriculum, right? So look at your own units, whatever it is you have, and say, for example, if you are again, talking about the water cycle in science, okay? The water cycle, you're like, yes, water cycle. I am going to go and get the song, The Water Between Us, which takes that science lesson beyond, right? You play The Water Between Us, and what happens is you have the voice of about 7 different youth that provide their own perspective on water. So that is why I highly encourage that. And not only that, you think about, the song Show Us the Way, right? So that particular, again, song Show Us the Way, you think about all of the opportunities that are there as well to do geography and history lessons, right? So I look at that and, there's a moment for pause and thinking out of the box. It's like, okay, well, what kind of trees are in the background here?
Right.
What kind of grandfathers and grandmothers are holding hands there? So it's these amazing ways, to be able to look at TikTok and other relatable, right? Relatable social media with our learners, and find those opportunities, to say, yes, this is going to bring, either introduce the lesson, be done during the lesson, or else as a way to consolidate it, because it's voices of youth. So again, that TikTok, again, that beautiful TikTok, that creative native, that wonderful, again, individual, provides us an opportunity throughout the videos to really consider pretty deep topics that could be taught in grade 7 and above. Decolonization.
Well, and even as you were saying about the identity formation and introducing these concepts at an early age, and then being able to see it, and to say, okay, this is this person is from a nation just next door or nearby. And that becomes part of that identity formation that you talked about, which is so critical.
Yeah, you got it. And, you have said, some key words here, identity, right? We had the chief talking about that so many of our youth are getting lost, right? And, we think about, I think about my uncle, Eddie Benton Beneba, who's been in the spirit world for a couple of years now. And he talked about, our young people really seeking, wearing a lot of gang colors and stuff like that. And what Eddie Benton Benet said is what? at their blood memory level, they're wearing these colors of gangs and things, but what they're really searching for is their clan colors. And if we can make those connections that, that's what they're searching for, that is about identity and engagement. And that's why I always try to find, TikTok videos or the things that young people are into, whether it's a particular meme or whether it is Instagram, that what I do is I try to find things that are appropriate to incorporate as part of my learning or else to be the center of it.
And you know what's so important about what you're saying too is like it's like a reclamation of something that was because there's a gap, for so many families because of residential schools. So when he talked about the lineup at the shelter here, like the homeless shelter, and seeing so many brothers and sisters, there from our nations, and with the community that Chief Easter is from, I actually grew up in as a child because my father was working there and we speak the same language. So, but my father always said about that community, it was a community of abundance. The people were so kind, and then they forcibly relocated them.
Yes.
And then there was residential schools. And so all of these impacts created this gap, right? Of the continuity of the traditional knowledge, the land-based knowledge, and so where those gaps are, what I hear you saying is that we can reclaim that.
Yes.
And that is, I think, so critical. Thank you so much for that.
And the thing is, you definitely got it. When I think about the situation in a lot of our urban centers and in our communities from now, because again, I grew up in a First Nation here in Northern Ontario, and seeing our youth struggling, I always try to reposition it. So when people make comments that are not appropriate, nobody was born into this world. Our people are not, didn't come here from that spirit world to be born into this world to say, yes, my ultimate dream is to be homeless. Right. That is not the dream, but we have to look at, well, what conditions, have brought us here. And there really is, it's about understanding the impacts of, again, colonialism, that it is ongoing. It's not in the past. It is happening right now. Right. And that's what it is. And it's about bringing back those traditions, but let's try to bring them back in a way that connects with our learners.
Right. And once again, I just want to say that video with those young people with the drum, just seeing them gently move that drum, just even the energy of it was so beautiful. And seeing those little children with that drum and seeing the artwork and hearing them speak and then rap. And it was just wonderful. And that just is that's how it should be.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
That was such a beautiful image.
Yeah.
Let's see. I just want to note we have Sarah Delaron Ramirez. Good idea to look into what the young people are doing, listening to learn also from them, to integrate into the curriculum. So thank you, Sarah. That is about, listening. Do you have any podcasts? That's what is being asked. Do you, Doctor?
No, Paul. No, for asking that. And you know what the thing is, right? It's all about it's about time, right? So we're all trying to balance and navigate in this new world that we are experiencing. And I'll tell you, the one thing that COVID-19 and the pandemic really taught me was it really recentered me in terms of valuing life. It's not that I didn't before, but valuing life and family time is the gift that it gave me. Because when I didn't have the opportunity to be with my family and my friends, I was like, okay, you know what, this was the time to really get recentered. So I don't have a podcast at all, but thank you for that. I also wanted to say, folks, don't let the curriculum, don't let the expectations, right? Don't let the expectations, again, strap you or limit you. A lot of people will say, well, the curriculum doesn't help us. It's really limiting. What I say is you are the hidden curriculum. Take those expectations and stretch them as far as you can, right? And say, listen, I'm taking this expectation and I'm going to use it to empower our learners with our own knowledge and resources.
Yes. That is so beautiful. And I'm just going to read one of these last comments. It's from Donna Prince. And she says, it's our dream to reclamation is the land. It's calling us and our children, and we will learn so much more. And that just fits so beautifully with what you just said, that knowledge is inside.
Yeah.
And so many people carry knowledge that they don't understand is really valuable. Like, I think simple things from how do you tie the knot on the mask bag? You know, like just those simple things, you know, the words like Anoki Chaban, like those kind of things are so important. So even though we think we might know a little, we actually, a lot of us know quite a bit. And it is what you're saying. I love that you're talking like this. And this was such a prolific, you know, message for the educators, First Nations educators. And as you said, don't get bound by the curriculum. Like,
yeah. And I just wanted,
Thank
because I
you.
saw a question there, Daniel. I don't have TikTok, and thank you. I had an account at one time, and I've just been so busy. I haven't been able to actually, like, you know, embrace like you know, my own social media, although I do participate in various ways. So I want to thank you for asking that. And, you know, I just really, you know, it is an honor. It's an honor to be here this morning, like, you know, with everybody. And I know that, you know, that you're there behind. But not only that, you know, it's just, this is such a time to be hopeful. And it's a time to be hopeful because we need to be hopeful again, like, you know, for our young people, right? I always think, you know, people always ask me, why are you always so happy? You know, and of course there's days where I'm not, but you know what, majority of the time I'm pretty hopeful and, you know, do have joy, because I always think about my grandparents and the people, my ancestors that came before me that did the work ahead of me, right? So they did it before me. And so I have like a responsibility and a gift, you know, a gift that I need to give back, so that I need to be present and I need to think about, okay, you know, the message and promoting hopefulness, because we have so much darkness right now that we need that. We need the hopefulness. Yes. Miigwech.
so miigwech, Dr. Pam, that you are the beneficiary, right, of your
I am.
ancestors' knowledge. And
Yes.
And we are so, as you said, you know, talking about Turtle Island, we're so fortunate to be of this land.
Yes.
And I think that's the strongest message I received today was this celebration,
Yes.
the joy,
Yes.
you know, the joy of just enjoying our culture, our humor, our beautiful land, our beautiful waters. And
Yes.
we are the recipients of so much. And I think that sometimes it just gets so difficult and the challenges are so enormous. You know, I always think that we're going through one of the most difficult periods in our history. You know, we will one day look back, our you know, generations to come will look back on this time. And, you know, it's an important time to preserve so much knowledge and to, you know, keep it going forward and to really celebrate who we are. Thank you so much. You were an amazing speaker. And I know our viewers loved it. And I do want to let everybody know that this video will be available. And it will be available right away. And it will be on the Facebook site and YouTube for MFNERC. So once again, Kichi Miigwech, Dr. Pam, and all the best to you and your family and your continuing work as a scholar and an author and educator. Okay, everybody, what an amazing morning we had. So to all of you delegates, I want to just once again let you know that this video will be available. You can go to the MFNERC YouTube site or to their Facebook page. And I wish you a great day at the Circle of Knowledge Conference. Kichi Miigwech. Thank you to our elder, Nellie Ann Cromarty, to the executive director, Charles Cochran, and also to the chairperson of the board of MFNERC, Chief Clarence Easter, and of course, our amazing keynote speaker, Dr. Pam. And that is Dr. Pamela Rose Toulouse, and she is from Sagamok First Nation in Northern Ontario. So thank you all. Miigwech.